Hello there, Gareth here. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with the channel yet, but I recently, well, I do kind of know, I want to kind of make it more of a holistic kind of thing, you know, like talking about experiences and things that aid in the betterment of one's psyche and whatnot. And games that are, you know, will induce a calmness, or allow one to release tension and whatnot. Not talking about rubbish games like Trip, you know, that meditation. Who meditates with a VR headset on? Come on. Or that Omniram or whatever the hell that piece of crap game was called. I'm talking about games that just chill, do you know what I mean? But yeah, today, because I recently shut down my Instagram and Facebook accounts, I downloaded my photos on Facebook, and it's a collection in particular of my time when I was in a refugee camp in Calais, Le Jungle de Calais, the jungle, you know. I was there in 2016 from March until, I was there for like 6 months. Yeah, about August, mid-August, end of August, before they went and just tore it all down. But I got some photos that were taken of me when I was there, and it just got me reminiscing about it. And I just wanted to have a talk about my experience there, to be honest with you, because refugees are still very prevalent in the world, what with the war machines that are America, UK governments making money off the backs of war, particularly America selling weapons, you know, and being the, reminds me of Bill Hicks, his old revelations when he says, you know, back when the Iraq war was going on, they were like, oh yeah, they got great weapons, excellent weapons. And they're like, how did you know? It's like, oh, we looked at the receipts. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to look, let's have a look. Like, I was there, like, helping with building, repairing of like the shacks that the people are in. Let's just have a look at them. Yeah, like, oh, this brings heartbreaking. I made some great friends there. That was when it was smaller, that was when it was much smaller. Like, it was huge at one point. Huge. Yeah, fucking gendarmerie, 3B, pencils, fucking pencils. Fucking jab a pencil in their neck. Fucking Gestapo motherfuckers they were. Seriously. I might even recognise some of these people. But yeah, my photos that I had, these, let's have a look. So this is me with a guy called Stefan. He was excellent, lovely guy. He lives in he married a Chinese girl, I think. He's married. But yeah, we got these are all the clothes that get donated, because I was originally with Care for Calais before going rogue. It was run by a lady called Claire. They used to call it Claire for Calais because it was just all about her. This woman was like, she had a super rich husband back in the UK, and she was using his money to fund Care for Calais, which is fair enough. You know, her husband was rich and all that, but it was all just to fuel her fucking ego. And while she was in Calais, she was then got shacked up with this this refugee. I was like, she was like using the money, like she had a fucking staying in a lovely apartment and whatnot, and she was like putting him up as well, fucking him unbeknownst to her husband, who was funding it all essentially. And yeah, she was a piece of shit, that woman. Didn't get on with her at all. But yeah, we were with Care for Calais, and this was one of the houses I ended up going into after a good like 3 months being there. Like, because like I say, we didn't go on with her, like, but everyone else got put up in. So some of the money was also being paid towards this house, to rent this house, and then the elite volunteers got put up in this, and I ended up getting put up in that place, and we were wearing a clothing which was just inappropriate to give, because Care for Calais would get loads of donations, food and clothes and, you know, toiletries and all this sort of stuff, and some of the clothes just weren't appropriate, so we just like dressing up like Mad Max, you know what I mean, like we had our mohawks done. There's Ellie, and I can't remember that bloody guy on the right, what his name was. Oh man, I feel bad. He was a lovely guy, and that's me. I went into the camp dressed like that, and they were like, there was this guy. I forgot his bloody name as well. He used to drive the trucks. He was from like Denmark, something like that, and he took a disliking to me at first. He thought I was like taking a piss with like this. And I was like, look, they're in a shitty place, a shitty circumstances, man. Like, I just want to bring a bit of sunshine to their life. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mind if I look like a prat doing it. And it's funny because I go into the camp and all the refugees, like, they're just like laughing at me, like wolf whistling, like woo woo. And then after that, we were very good friends. He saw that it wasn't just, you know, I wasn't taking a piss, or, you know, he saw it in the wrong light, what I was doing. And Jürgen he was called. And yeah, that was funny. So I let me shave my legs off there. See, I didn't shave them. This is, we had the containers where stuff would get stored. Incidentally, I ended up staying in one of those containers. One of them was luckily open, like not locked up, and luckily it had sleeping bags and that in it, which is pretty awesome, because I'd been working flat out without a day off for like about 2 months, and we're lifting up the shacks one time because I'd done my knee in. I popped my knee a little bit because we were trying to lift up the shacks to get them onto the bed back of the trucks Jürgen was driving, and we were lifting up. We got clearing so many of these. We had to move the shacks out of the way because the gendarmerie were going to go in and just bulldoze a whole section to make the camp smaller, and we were just moving them like wild horses just to get them into the other part so people would still have places to stay, right? And so I had to have some time off. So I ended up going with one of the volunteers, Scottish guy, young kiddie, he was about like this is in 2016, so this is like 9 years ago, you know, I'm 45 now, so it's like I was like 35, 36, you know, 36, yeah. Well, coming up to 36. And I was staying in this like place that I found, like, you know, like on Airbnb, and I give my keys to this Ethiopian guy that was there, because there's plenty. It wasn't just like Syrians weren't just there. There was loads of different nationalities, like Sudanese, Iranians, and yeah, there wasn't just like, it was just 'cause that was the current crop of refugees fleeing war-torn, that time. And I give my keys to, because I only had like a couple of days left on the place, and I thought, well, he was staying in like this little, tent or whatever, like, and I thought it'd be nice for him to have a bed and be able to have a bath and whatnot. And people going, oh, you shouldn't give him the keys, like not trusting this, and I trust the fucking refugees there more than I trust any fucking English person, to be fair. And it proved to be a fair judgment, because the guy who I went over to, he left the place clean and everything, took his stuff out, gave him the keys back, left the keys there, and the guy I went over to, is it called Aiden? Aiden, yeah. I had just sold like a load of old music equipment, like fucking £1,200 Fender bass, like jazz bass, and loads of like equipment. And I've since replenished it back what I want, but anyway, I had some money, some funds, like, like, that helped me build. We went to Amsterdam, and there was a volunteer who was going back home, and she kind of gave us a lift out to Amsterdam. And annoyingly, it was on the weekend we went. It was Easter weekend, so it was like more expensive. I'd never been to Amsterdam before, and this Aiden I was with, he was like, oh yeah, I've got a bit of money, I've got some money coming in, my mate's going to pay it to me, like, could you just like sort me out and I'll pay you back? So we were going to cafe after cafe, and you have to buy a little bit of smoke each time you go into a cafe, It's what it was like back then anyway. I know it's changed somewhat since. And so I was like, like, I trust this guy. And then it was like, yeah, he's going to pay it back, And it was on Friday, and it didn't happen. It was getting into the evening, didn't happen. So then I paid for a hotel, both of us say, double bed, shared the bed, top of tail, that sort of thing. Nothing kinky going on. And it cost me a fucking arm and leg, because it was an Easter, wasn't it? So it was like, for that one night, it cost me like about €180. And I was happy to just go to, I don't know why I did actually, but I took all my stuff with me. So I had all my bags, rather than just leaving them with someone in Calais. I was trawling them around with me all the way to freaking Amsterdam. I don't know why. And this guy, he was going to do some busking. He had his accordion. Yeah, weird fucking instrument to be busking with, like, and take him with you to Calais. But he wanted to go and do some busking. He never got around to doing that. So I wanted to just go and stay in, like, like, cheapest accommodation we could find, And he was like, no, I don't want to do any like bunk bed sharing kind of things and that, like, like traveller lodges and that, because my accordion would get nicked. I'm like, okay, fair play. And I did actually have one of my guitars with me as well. Just one that I saved that I didn't sell. And so then I ended up fronting up for this hotel, because we'd left it so late that there was nowhere else available apart from this extortionately priced hotel room. It cost about €200 or something for the night. It wasn't even a fucking fantastic one. And then Saturday came, he kept on stringing us along, saying, and then we ended up spending the night on the street on Saturday night, because my funds had gone. And slept on the streets. And yet somehow, he said, I still haven't got the money, but then somehow he managed to get some coke. I'm like, no, do you want some? I'm like, no, I'm all right, mate. How'd you get the money for that? He was like, oh, someone just give it to me. He's like, look, ain't no one giving you fucking coke free. It's like no one, so it's bullshit. He blatantly got a bit of money, and then he had some money to pay for us to get coach back. That's where we ended up having to stay in there. Mate, I grabbed that guy by the fucking throat, like, when he tried bullshitting me. Like, you know, I never got the money back. There's someone else ended up paying me the money back. Another elderly gentleman paid me the money back. Well, he donated me some money, like, while I was there to help fund me while I was actually getting paid by, subsidised by a job. I was off on sick leave. I was working at this care home, and it's like I had to whistle blow on them. So I went off sick, so it took its toll on me. Anyway, I went over there, and we got back there, and that's where we had to stay in one of these for the night, on the Sunday night. So stayed in a expensive hotel on the fucking Friday, blew all my money, funding funding that Scottish prick, lying to me saying I was going to get money back, sleep on the streets of Amsterdam on Saturday night, with all my stuff surrounding me, and then slept in the container. Luckily I had sleeping bags. And yeah, so that wasn't the best experience of Amsterdam, to be fair, but it was a fun adventure anyway. But these were containers that were in. Here's me upping someone up. I think that's Charlie. I love Charlie. I ended up fucking it up, man. Got pissed one night, and he pissed me off, and I said I was going to bury him in the ground. Kind of put the wind up him, frightened him a bit, so we kind of fell out over that. Yeah, Stefan shaving me old noggin. Got a bit of a belly on me there. And me shaving Stefan's noggin. And then this guy, Krunal Padilla, he does photography now. You find him on YouTube, on Instagram. But this, you see me there? Fucking the gendarmerie, you see him, look. They're pumping down tear gas. So this fence, there was a big fence going all around the refugee camp. 20 odd £million it cost. British taxpayers' money paid for that. They gave it to the French to pay for it, because they were going to deal, didn't they, with the UK, where they were stopping them from coming over from their shores to British shores, unsuccessfully, I might add, but never really understood why everyone wanted to come to the UK, because I didn't really have the heart to tell them, like, you know, England shit. UK shit, mate. You think, like, it's not going to be as nice as you think it's going to be. But yeah, you know, that's their kind of hope, innit? You're not going to shit on someone's hope. But they wouldn't fire it down. There was no reason for them firing it down. They just wanted to antagonise these, the gendarmerie, Gestapo motherfuckers they are. And they had these little holes in the fence. They would open these gates up, and then they would fire the bullets down. There's an excellent photo. It's me stomping down on one of the tear gas, put out the tear gas thing with the old mask on my face. And yeah. They would do it just to antagonise the refugees, just because they were bored, you know. They would fire the tear gas down. So this was all just like muddy ground, all of this big patch of muddy ground, and refugees would go there, play football, cricket. It's some of the best footballers and cricketers you've seen, you know. You wonder why the French football team, there's so many good French, non-white, you know, French, they were all once refugees, and then they got their citizenship in France. And then, yeah. Well, there were some excellent football players and cricket players there, but they would just, to piss them off, they would just fire down tear gas to fucking piss them off, man. And yeah, I had a few run-ins with the gendarmerie. Yeah, this was a photo I took of. After I was saying when we were moving this is the van. This is Jürgen's van. This is Jürgen's van. I wonder if he's in there. So that was the van we were moving them on. So we'd have to pick up these shacks, and that's how I'd done my knee. So I picked it up. I was on a bit of wet mud, and my foot just as the weight. I took the weight of the building, boom, my foot went into the mud and it just creaked my fucking knee. But I found that it's like, you know, squidgy little stress ball globe, and you know, you see it's like broken off a bit of it, and I thought it quite a powerful photo, you know, just this desolate land and broken earth. But yeah, check this guy out. Check him out. Kunal Padilla. He was a great guy. Great guy. But yeah, that like I say, I had my run-ins with the gendarmerie. Like, you look how awful it was, man. Do you know what I'm saying? People living in this. When it would rain, it just get pockets, and you get like a shit ton of rats there. You know, I'm not talking about the gendarmerie, like just like rats and all that. Do you know what I mean? And see, these lots of people had TEDs. You know, lots of people had TEDs, and then a lot of them had shacks. And they were the shacks we were moving. And these pricks, look at them, their little fucking gay sailor hats on. They would be outside, so every time you'd come in, passport check, they'd take your passports. And legally, they weren't allowed to do that. They wouldn't let you in otherwise, so you just come and give it to them. And they would keep your passports, take the details off of them, and And so then basically they would, the long-term volunteers were more of a threat to them, because you see a lot more, what really goes on. You'd get the kind of short-term volunteers, and some of the volunteers, we call them tourists, big dicks. You know, it's like, you're going to help for 1 hour or 1 year. It's help, innit, right? And it's free help that you're offering. But the short-term volunteers will come down for the weekend warriors, I would call them, dickheads, like. And so we'd tell them the truth about the matter, and they'd be like, "What?" It's like, yeah, it's fucking shit, man. The police are shit. And they would, like, literally, there's loads of times, because there's like a little, like, river going around, like, there was loads of instances where the police, like, because they were like pumping money into the economy, the refugees, because they got money, innit? They got money. They were working back where they were living. You know, they're all skilled. There was a guy who was like speaking to someone from Cambridge, like university, because he was like an expert in the field of artificial intelligence, you know? And there was this guy that I knew, and I never knew if he got across, but he had a fake Italian passport, because he kind of looked a bit Italian, like, so one of the characters off of Sopranos, like, but he was Syrian. And I don't know if he ever got across. Yeah, never knew if he got across, because I ended up, after like 6 months, I fell out with Care for Calais, and I went rogue, and just going around stealing materials from different, like, NGOs, non-government organisations, to go and repair stuff off my own back. Because there'd be lots of, I fell out with like one person in particular, because they were like promising the refugees, yeah, we'll be back in a bit to fix up this leak in your roof. And then it would get to like 5 o'clock, and then it'd be like, oh, clock off, let's go to the pub. And I'm like, look, you fucking promised people you're going to do something. This ain't a normal 9 to 5 freaking job, you know? Don't make people promises, you prick, if you're going to, like, break it, you know? And so I was off on my own for a little while, and I was with that guy Charlie, and this other guy, I can't remember his fucking name either, but we were like a trio going around doing stuff. And then I fell out with Claire for Calais, and I was like outed. And then I ended up meeting this girl who was volunteering, French citizen, but originally for like of Moroccan origin. She was at university in Marseille. So it just got to a point where I was like, I've got nothing more to give now. And it always haunts me that I left, you know, because a little bit after was when it all started getting smashed down and everything, and it was harder to kind of help them because all of the refugees were disbanded amongst France, just moved to different places, different patches in Calais. And I went to stay with her in her place in Marseille for a few months before coming back to the UK. And incidentally, I say they took our passports. I'm now banned from France for life. Didn't do anything to get banned for that. It's funny, there was this one day where they were having like a peaceful protest outside where they were housing some of the refugees, but like in detention centres, not like in hotels or whatever, you know, the people can justifiably complain like we do over here, you know, we caused the fucking wars, yeah, let's take in the refugees, right, help them, we're fucking blowing up their country and profiting off of it, so why shouldn't we help them, you know, our government, like. And we went to this peaceful protest, like, not in Calais, but I can't remember exactly where it was, but they knew me, like, and I'd been a little bit provocative, you know, I'd provoked them, like, you get them in their armadillo outfits, you know, like these fuckers here, you know, proper full garb on, and not showing their faces and all that, and like, they would even cover over their badges, their badge numbers, you couldn't take that down, all that sort of stuff, you know, proper like Nazi like tactics going on. And they send in the worst people, worst of the worst. Complete lack of humanity, the people that they put into who were not all of the gendarmerie like that, but the ones that went to Calais to the refugees were, oh yeah, it's like I say, throwing them in rivers, just like beating them up and that sort of thing, you know. And there's one time, like, see, it was funny because they'd be walking around, like you see them, like you see them in there, you know, like the photo that I showed you with the pencils. And all of the volunteers would start humming the Star Wars, you know, Darth Vader's like, dun, 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 dun. And they hated it. We would record them, and they'd come over to us like, shut up, stop singing that. What was that? We're recording. They didn't like it, so they didn't like me. And I didn't much fucking care, to be honest with you, bunch of cunts. And this particular day with this peaceful protest, we're not doing anything, you know. I did have a megaphone. I was like you know, and then someone else's megaphone. But they saw that it was me that like highlighted it, and then all of a sudden, fucking they swarmed, they encircled me, just come in. And then the next thing I know, you got like these detective types, like they you know, they weren't the gendarmerie, they were like, you know, like officers, like, you know, inspectors or whatever. And then I get booted in the back of the knees, fall to the ground, and knock my glass on my head, and they fucking cuff me, and they throw me in the back of the car, smack my head on the back of the car doors, they're getting me in and all that, and they have me in the police station in Calais. And they don't give me a translator. They're supposed to give me a translator. I asked for my girlfriend, this Zahra, Moroccan girl, because she was very fluent in French and Arabic and English and, you know, other languages. And she was there offering free legal advice. They had like a law centre there. It got burnt down. Refugees saw the gendarmerie going there in, cloak of darkness, and all of a sudden it's set on fire. There was also other fires that got purposely set on, like happened because of them. And they wouldn't let her come in, be my translator. And then I had this guy, like the superior officer, he was like, had me in his office, and he was like, look, if you sign this bit of paper, all in French, he's like, you can get out of here. And I was like, well, I ain't got a fucking clue what it says. I was like, and I was recording all of this, unbeknownst to him, because they give my phone back at this point, when I went into the office with him. So I put it on record, and I said, look, if you're telling me that this is legit to sign, then I sign it and I get out of here. But that what I signed basically was to do with me getting banned from France, because when I got back I went to Marseille with Zara. I went back to, when we got to Marseille, I got pulled up, and they were like, they knew of me, like they brought me in the office, and it was the second time. I went up to Marseille, and then I went back home, and then I went back over there, and then going back over there, they pulled me up. They said, yeah, you're not allowed in here. France don't want you here. They were saying, France don't want you here. The French people don't want you here. I'm like, well, that's not true, is it? It's just you racist motherfucker, and your racist type friends. And they let me stay there until the end of my holiday, and then they were like, don't come back again, kind of thing. At that point, I wasn't banned, but there was just a mark on my name. And then I got like letters through from saying, all in French, saying that they wanted me to come over to attend a court appearance, appear in court. I had to defend myself. And I tried to go over there. I'd been banned. Wouldn't let me in. I was on the ferry. Wouldn't let me in at all. Over to France. I could have gone to Belgium and gone through to France, so I couldn't attend the court appearance, and then because I was like a no-show, they've ended up just banning me from the country. Lifetime ban from France. Just for helping people in need. That was my time in France, in Calais. But yeah, it was mad because, like I say, the people, they were putting a lot of money into the economy, because these people had money, and they were going up to the shopping, Lidl and whatnot, because there was a Lidl there, and they were like going and shopping in their places, in their shops, putting money into the Calais economy. Ain't no one going to fucking Calais anymore, because no one's going there for cigarette or beer runs, People would just, it's just no tourism there at all. It's just other French people there, and it's like the amount of money that they're getting in is like just dwarfed compared to what Calais used to get. So you'd think they would be fucking thankful that they got the refugees there with their loaded bank accounts, like buying food and everything on the dailies, Like, obviously, why people donate and stuff. It's like, well, they've only got a certain amount of funds, and they've been there for like I said, it wasn't just with the whole Syrian crisis that was going on years before as well. So people's funds had dwindled, and they're just waiting for that opportunity to go over on the boats and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Like, you had it's annoying. It was like capitalism just in full effect. There's that saying, you give a man a fish, you feed his family for a day, teach him how to fish, you feed his family for a generation. Well, it's very much the former. All of these NGOs, these white fucking saviours, capitalising on it, because they would have these monthly meetings, and it was only when started kicking up a stink about it. Why haven't you got actual refugees going into these meetings? Why is it all just different representatives of the NGOs? That they started putting actual refugees in there. There's rivalry between different nationalities, certain nationalities, but they would just they wanted to be given the tools to be able to fix, because these people are like tradesmen and that as well, do you know, they can fix stuff themselves. But it's like, oh no, we can't give you the tools. We've got the tools, we use the tools to do what do you want us to do. You know, that sort of thing. Because they were just worried about becoming irrelevant and unnecessary. So they had done all that was in their power to make sure that they remained necessary, remained relevant in not giving them the tools that they needed, holding on to them tools. So, and like I said, that Claire from Claire for Calais was a proper dick. And I met some great people there. Great people. I converted to Islam for a while, you know. I mean, just because I'd never felt such a connection with people, you know. Like, it was just we were all part of something. And I remember Khaled, he was a Sudanese guy. Like, I love Khaled. He wasn't necessarily the best. He wasn't a practicing Muslim himself, like, because he drank a lot, and he actually lived in Russia. He could speak Russian because he was an actor, quite a famous actor in Russia, actually. He was back in Sudan, and then, you know, wars kicked off like they do, as they still are. And he ended up in Calais, but he took me to just look makeshift mosques that they had, and I watched from the outsides, you know, the brothers praying, and the Sudanese brothers praying, and it's just the synchronicity of them praying, like, just mesmerised me. I ended up converting. I got converted in the camp. And my name I chose was Abdul Basir, servant of the all-seeing. Basir is one of the 97 names given to Allah. Obviously, his is all capitalised. You know, Allah, God, you know, it's just Allah means God in Arabic, for those who aren't educated or think it's different. It's the same God. And they even recognise Jesus. They don't just see him. They don't think he's the big I am that Christianity does. But, you know, it's all inconsequential details, really, isn't it? Given that God is supposed to equal love. But, yeah, so I converted to Islam for a while. I was praying, everything, learned how to pray in Arabic. Bismillah, Rahman. I can't remember it now, man. It's just been quite long years. When I come back to the UK, I went to a mosque in Ho for a little while, and it just wasn't the same, you know. I realised that my journey as a Muslim ended there in Calais, really, because it was more about being part of a brotherhood, being part of their brotherhood in Calais. And it was awesome when they'd like, you'd break fast, you know, at sunset, and we'll go to these Sudanese guys, like, and they'd be just sharing the food, and it's lovely the way you're still using your hands. You're just like, oh, some of the best food, you know, some of the best food. And everyone wanted me to come around because I was like this, and I kind of felt a bit weird about it, because it was like I was like this, you know, because I was a white man. If I pray, how fucked up this is, if I pray for one of the non-native English Muslims, they get like double the amount of like kudos, good luck, whatever you want to call it, do you know what I mean? Which is just rubbish, isn't it? Why? I'm just white, you know? I'm just white, there's nothing different about me. My prayers aren't better than yours, do you know? But I'd get all the different nationalities. But oh, come and break fast with us. And it was like, I've become a bit of a celebrity because of it. To be honest with you, within the camp, like the people, because they're just like, wow, like he converted, and like it was genuine, man. It helped me definitely. It's something I consider going back to. You know, not changing my name, keep my English name, like. But I don't know if it would be just because I would be reminiscing about being there and people I was with, do you know what I mean? And I also remember there was this group of Iranian guys, they were on hunger strike. They'd been on hunger strike for about 2 years because they just wanted to get shit sorted out for everybody. It didn't transpire that way in the end, you know. Ended up just getting helped out themselves, which is still good in and of itself, but, you know, their hope was to help more people. But there's just one particular Iranian, one of the Iranian guys, he was like a tank of a guy, and he was strong. He was in the Iranian army, like, you know, like their equivalent of the SAS, like, and he was a tank. Like, I remember there was like this car, like, and it was not parked properly. So it was like incorrect parking. His broken English, you know, bless him, he speak like Iranian, Farsi. And he just lifted up the car proper easily, just moved it into place. So it was like parallel, hilarious, strong as an ox. And yeah, they were all on hunger strike though. He lost a lot of weight, as they all did, but he was obviously a lot bigger, so he had more weight to lose, muscular. And I wanted to join him because, as sad as it is, you know, if a white English national were to be joining them on a hunger strike, it would gain more gravitas in the eyes of the press, and then something would be done proper about it, right? But I was ready to die for that cause, you know, help all those people, try and help all those people. Not like some sort of fucking messiah, but just, you know, like, value one life to save many. It's like, that's fucking no-brainer, you know. And I got talked out of it, you know, for understandable reasons, because it was like, their point was that if you do this, you're going to have to stick it out on your own eventually, because they're like almost 2 weeks in on it. So by the time you reach 2 weeks, you know, the whole rule of thumb, can't go without air for 3 minutes, water for 3 days, and food for 3 weeks. They're going to be pushing into the month threshold. And at that point, they're going to be approaching death's door, right? So I had to fucking broke my heart. I had to pull out on it, do you know what I mean? I felt like I let them down. Like, but it was just, I saw the sense in it, you know? Like, because it was like, if I'd gone ahead with it, it was just their death sentence, right? Just their death sentence. They would have died, you know? It wouldn't have been until I was about to die, the white British citizen, that they would have started doing anything about it, right? And yeah, I couldn't have their deaths on my hands, you know what I mean? But that was pretty hard going. It was all pretty hard going, to be fair. But yeah, that's brought up quite a lot actually. I'm going to cut it there. But it's already been quite a while. I edit it down, but I hope it's an interesting insight to you regarding what went on there, you know, because it was certainly a ride, and then some. Anyway, Oodles of Toodles, Oodles of Toodles.